South Carolina. On a rainy Wednesday last month, soldiers shuffled into lecture halls eager for the end of their 10-week introduction to Army life. The morning's training wouldn't be dedicated to firing drills, marksmanship or hand-to-hand combat. Instead, soldiers would be learning healthy coping strategies, texting etiquette and the signs of a toxic relationship. At the Army base in Columbia, South Carolina, where about half of new U.S. soldiers train for combat, basic training would be unrecognizable to a soldier of a different era. Drill sergeants now minimize their use of profanity, insults and degrading remarks and strive to become support figures for trainees. Soldiers learn breathing exercises and holistic nutrition. They take yoga classes and are encouraged to sleep a full 8 hours. The Army is teaching incoming soldiers social skills and emotional health in a push to tackle problems in the military's largest branch, such as sexual harassment and poor communication skills among electronics-addicted Gen Z soldiers. When Tyler Bergman, a drill sergeant at the base, joined the Army in 2013, training was to help you get ready to go to war. That's it, nothing else, he said. But nowadays, the Army is looking at the bigger picture. After years of attacks from some on the right on so-called woke policies and programs, President Donald Trump is already systematically dismantling federal diversity, equity and inclusion programs from top to bottom within his first week in office. He has signaled similar intentions for the Pentagon with his new Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. An Army National Guard veteran and former Fox News host, Hegseth spent years accusing the military of abandoning its focus on warfighting to appease cultural sensitivities. In recent years, some critics including Hegseth have skewered the Pentagon over concerns about wokeness in the military. Increasing focus on diversity, equity and inclusion initiatives and efforts to encourage the recruitment and advancement of women and minorities have dulled the military's sharp standards for strength and physical fitness, they say. But officials behind the new training initiatives say standards haven't lagged, the military's understanding of what battle readiness means has just evolved. They say a competent soldier is an effective communicator as well as a lethal fighter. I don't see this training as separate from warfighting, said Col. David Uthlot, commander of the 165th Infantry Brigade, which trains at Fort Jackson. We can't be just focused on the technical and tactical piece, he said. We've got to be focused on the cohesion, the trust, the communication. When Joshua Fredericks, 19, of Manhattan, Kansas, told his dad about the new training, it elicited some jokes from the former drill sergeant. An Army trainee at Fort Jackson, Fredericks said his experience differs dramatically from his father's and generations of service members in his family. If his dad had an open mind, mental health-related training could have had untold benefits for his military career, Fredericks speculated. If he started young and got the training, he would absolutely have done better, he said. In June, Army officials first incorporated communication and emotional awareness training at 3 bases. They plan to expand it throughout the Army as part of its initial training and could use it later on for soldiers more advanced in their careers, according to Lieutenant Gen. David Francis, the Deputy Commanding General for the Army's training. At Fort Jackson alone, tens of thousands of soldiers have completed the training, Uthlot, the infantry commander, said. Recruits not prepared for the stress of military life. Internal Army feedback indicated recruits weren't as resilient as needed, or prepared for the stress of military life or life in general, Francis said. Uthlot pointed to corrosive behaviors among soldiers. Drill sergeants and soldiers at the base said they experience conflict routinely. When an instructor asked how many soldiers had experienced a fight or conflict during a recent training session, nearly every hand in the room shot up. Tina Mack, a 21-year-old from Philadelphia, said there were conflicts all the time in her platoon. But her drill sergeant helped her deal with her emotions. She said once she was so angry she told her drill sergeant, "I honestly don't know how to process what I'm feeling." He was just like, "I just need you to breathe," she said. New soldiers struggle with phone addictions, communication. Nearly half of the Army's active duty enlisted soldiers are 25 or younger and face a 21st century problem. The Army is struggling to reach incoming soldiers with phone and electronics addictions that impede their capacity for face-to-face communication. New trainees at Fort Jackson are usually only allowed phone access once a week. It's been a big change for me, but I think it's for the better, said Cameron O'Brien, 25, of Frederick, Maryland. I was probably on my phone way too much before I came here. Uthlot said many soldiers come in with some level of addiction to their phones, and don't know how to interact with one another because they're so used to being in digital-type forums, he said. The problem extends far beyond the Army. Half of 12 to 17-year-olds spend 4 or more hours a day on screens, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Of those, a quarter experienced anxiety or depression. Last July, former U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy called for social media platforms to carry warning labels. He cited research that indicates social media has accelerated a mental health emergency among young people. In response, the Army is employing its own tech gadgets. A pilot group of Fort Jackson trainees are trying out virtual reality goggles that simulate tricky social situations. In a highly realistic 3D view, soldiers pick responses to situations in a choose-your-own-adventure interface. In one module, a conflict breaks out in a barracks because a soldier is playing music too loud. The soldier must choose between steps that work towards a compromise or rile up the quibbling parties. In another, a soldier goes home from a bar with someone they'd been flirting with. Once they arrive, the other person doesn't want to have sex. The soldier can opt to talk it out or react in anger. As one classroom of soldiers pulled the goggles off their eyes to discuss, the occasional giggle broke out. One soldier, asked to describe his experience, said he intentionally chose the wrong answers to see what would happen. The instructor doesn't penalize them for the choices they make, they're just asked to reflect as a group about their impressions. Pentagon grapples with recent rise of military sexual assault. Before she came to Fort Jackson, people back home warned Glennie Montenegro Herrera, an 18-year-old from Milwaukee, to take every precaution against sexual assault. Just stay away from everybody and everything, friends and family told her. But I can't, she added. The 2020 murder of Vanessa Guillen, a 20-year-old Army soldier at Fort Hood who said she was sexually harassed, coupled with a 25% spike in sexual assaults from 2018 to 2021 have forced the military to reckon with a long-standing problem in its ranks. Although reports finally declined for the first time in almost a decade in 2023, one study found sexual assault prevalence could run up to 4 times higher than the Pentagon's data.